Yo, what's good with y'all, man? What's going on? PG the Hustler, man. Welcome to episode 22 of Talking Shit. Um, as you see, I'm flying solo, man, in the hacker den. You feel me? But it's all good though. It's the summer, everything. Everybody, people got stuff to do, all that kind of stuff, man. We know what it is. Um, but we're gonna go ahead and since I'm flying solo, we're gonna go ahead and get this plane off the ground. We're gonna get this shit off the ground, man. As you probably read, we got another teen that was murdered by. Murdered by off. This one is a off-duty corrections officer, which I'm gonna give my thoughts on that after I show the clip. I don't get it, man. What fucking business do you got bothering this kid? We finna get into this clip, but we got that teen killed by water gun, man. We gonna talk about there's a couple Karens that was fighting, man. There's another couple things we gonna get into, man. So let's go ahead and get into it right now.
Kill a teenager who has a toy gun has now been charged with murder. All right? Let me take you to this story. Let's put up the picture of the victim, full mass here. So sad.
I got my drink.
A young man who was firing a
El
toy
Mayor,
water
man.
gun.
Drib got me on this one, man.
That's it. A toy water gun
El Mayor
was fatally
tequila.
shot in the Bronx by an off-duty City Department of Corrections officer. The officer is Dion Middleton. Dion Middleton has been charged with murder, manslaughter, and criminal possession of a weapon. No confirmed picture of Middleton can be found at this time. All right, we're going to stay on top of it. The victim that you see, his name is Raymond Callicent, 18 years of age. He was shot in the face. Okay, the team was rushed to the hospital, could not be saved. According to the police, the teenager had a water gun, and the water gun was inside of a car. Let me show you the picture of the water gun. See that? Look at that.
Here we go, the same kind
He
of
was
gun.
killed because an officer said he was in fear of his life because of that water gun. Callicent's older sister, Jareda Esquilin, 29, said her little brother was just taking part in a water gun fight with neighborhood friends on a hot summer night. I can't believe a corrections officer killed my brother, she said. Everything nowadays is a raging thing. They were just having fun, she said. It's a new Nerf gun that shoots water. The whole neighborhood was having a water gun fight. It was 90 degrees outside. Middleton fled the scene of the crime, which is evidence of him knowing what he did was a crime. Middleton works in training at the NYPD shooting range in Rodman's Neck, and he allegedly went to work following the fatal shooting, sources said. Police tracked down Middleton through surveillance canvassing following his vehicle. The corrections officer was arrested at work in Rodman's Neck earlier that day. He went and clocked in. He's a 45-year-old man. Raymond could have been his son. What a coward, said the sister. So let's put up a picture of the commissioner here. Commissioner has gone on record. He's the commissioner of corrections, all right, Luis Malone. And the commissioner said in a statement that the very serious charges against Officer Middleton are in no way a reflection of the officers who work to keep our city safe every day. This officer will be immediately suspended without pay. And if the charges are true, he will face the full consequences of the law and be terminated. Here's the problem I have with this, all right? The man has been arrested for murder. You got to get this in context. The man has been arrested for murder. He's on camera committing the murder. How did they find him? They found him through surveillance cameras, okay? So they got him on camera. He committed murder. He goes to work. He gets arrested. He's still getting, he's still not terminated. Help me understand this now. He's not completely terminated, but they're waiting for the investigation to figure out exactly what's going to happen here. I don't understand this. All right, Dan, help me out. Am I wrong here?
It doesn't seem to be making sense. This corrections officer had nothing to do with this teen who was shot. It wasn't like he was assigned to this teen. It wasn't like this is what you do with corrections officers in those situations. Oh, I got to make sure that my client or whoever I'm working with is on the up and up. I got to point my gun at them. What training do you have? That Nerf gun clearly has an orange tip, which is meant to say like, hey, this is harmless. Yeah. And when I'm looking at the story, and like there's so many angles to do with this, police accountability, as we've talked about on the show, is absolutely nowhere. But I can't just help thinking, like, can black kids of color, not have a water gun fight in hot weather in this country? Because if this was suburbia, if this was somewhere, that wouldn't be an issue. If a cop were driving by and seeing a water gun fight, he would laugh and smile and go on his merry way. But no, because we're in a society where each summer is hotter than the next, and kids are just trying to do what little they can to enjoy being a kid in this kind of society right now, with how dangerous things are, with all they and their adult parents have to be stressed out about. They can't even have a water gun fight. What do we have in society anymore for these kids? What can they look up to without imagining, oh no, can't have fun, might get shot? It's horrifying.
And just remember, this officer committed this deed and left the scene of the crime. You can't forget that. How does that end up in a suspension? Okay, how? I don't know any other job you can have where you can literally be arrested for murder. Think about it. Arrested for murder. They got you on camera and you decided to flee the scene of a murder and you're still not fired. There's a problem. There's a problem.
I wish Drib was here. He about to cry.
It's not us. I'm not wrong here.
You finna cry, Drib.
There's no way in the hell this should stand.
What do you want?
So, I don't know, man. Let me put my 2 cents in on that one. First of all, rest in peace to this young man. I don't know where we go, I don't know where we draw the line to where something has to be done to where these people who have semi-authority, like corrections officers, security guards. Bro, you're a correction officer. That means you work in the jail or wherever, the youth camp, the facility, wherever the fuck you work. That's where the fuck you work. Why are you taking your job home and bothering a child, bothering kids that was playing? This little kid, you could clearly look at his face and see there's not a lick of hair on him, on his face. There ain't no peach for. You could tell he's a kid. And like the dude said, like the dude with the eraser head said, man, you ain't responsible for him. You weren't assigned to that kid. Where the fuck do you get off? Where the fuck do you get off fucking shooting this, even asking him a question? And you didn't even ask, man. I'm gonna follow up on this one too, cause he didn't even ask him the question. Like, he didn't even ask him nothing. There wasn't nothing on there where it said he walked up to him. He asked him this, that, this. What's your? Give me your ID, where you belong, whatever. He didn't ask him nothing. I didn't see shit. That shit is fucking crazy. It's downright wrong. Like, the nigga knew he was wrong. That he left the scene. He knew he was wrong. Period. Period, point blank. Anyway. Enough about that bullshit, because that's some fucked up shit, man. Let's get to this bitch ass nigga, because I do not like this nigga here.
Is anti-LGBTQ pastor Jesse Lee Peterson gay? He's a predator. He may have even hit on David Pakman. And he ran away and caused an accident when someone confronted him. Here's the video.
Hey, Jesse Peterson. Martin Francis here. How are you? So, I'm the first man in your whole career. I am the first man in your whole career that you have run from. Like the chicken song that you played. You are running from me. You're running from your what you've been doing for 31 years. Trying to get us killed here. Jesse's so upset that he tried to cross the street before he should have, and caused these cars to stop and bash into each other.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's because I now have video proof, more so than before.
About you sleeping with your brother's wife.
Oh, that's nice. He wants me to tell them how I was sleeping with my brother's wife. That's fine. But Jesse, why will you not speak on your homosexual behaviors?
I have more video. Now, once again, no issue with the fact that Jesse Lee Peterson is in fact gay. The issue is he has literally taken a position for over 30 years, has been paid money in order to represent a position antithetical to the movement of a community that he belongs to. He has animated violence against individuals who are members of the LGBTQ community. He has lived his sexual freedoms while telling the world they must be legally restricted. David Pakman, great brother, actually has gone on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, and he gave some insight into his experience with Peterson. Here it is.
It turns out, it appears that the very openly homophobic, anti-gay Christian pastor Jesse Lee Peterson is gay. And I'm going to talk about my experience with him, which included him being pretty handsy with me, to be perfectly honest. I wasn't sexually harassed. I didn't feel intimidated or anything. But at the time, I just wrote it off to this guy's just a character. He's just handsy. But I'm going to get back to that. Okay, so here's the story. The Daily Beast now reporting allegations of manosphere pastors' gay past, royal macho men. Jesse Lee Peterson has emerged as one of the right's most vocal anti-gay figures, but his one-time friends now allege that the pastor has had many same-sex relationships. I'm not going to give you every claim, but there are so many stories now of people saying, I was involved in sexual, men saying I was involved in sexual activity with Jesse Lee Peterson. He comes on to people aggressively in many cases.
Mr. Pakman, it's even more sinister than that. You see, I actually watched the interview of every single man who had their story. Jesse Lee Peterson is a predator. You see, here's what he did. He took individuals who had a substance abuse problem, moved them into his home called the Bond, basically a compound, a cult. And he said that he would counsel them, that God appointed him as his counselor. And as the relationship would continue, Jesse Lee Peterson would engage in these special counseling sessions that included sexual assault. It included him doing things to these other men that he called their second baptism and them being born again. He was a predator to these men who were broken. They were hurt and they were looking for salvation, and they found it in this charlatan. Now, when Jesse Lee Peterson was on my program, I had no idea that he was a predator, but I would not allow him to bash gay people, Black people, and women. Here's how that went. This is probably going to end up being an utter waste of my time having you on the show. What are your thoughts about
You
Black
don't know
Lives
that.
Matter?
You may learn something.
We'll see, preacher. What is it about Black Lives Matter that you disagree with fundamentally?
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat, Black, radical lesbians.
Okay.
And who
All right,
hate
have a good
God.
night. Get this clown off my show. I appreciate you.
Who
Thank you.
hate
Franklin University makes it possible. Thomas.
So the next day on
Wait a
Fundamentally.
minute.
Black Lives Matter was.
I'm having you on. I would not allow him
I had to
to
run that back,
bash
y'all. I'm sorry.
gay people, black people,
This is hilarious.
and women. Here's how that went. This is probably going to end up being an utter waste of my time having you on the show. What are your thoughts about
You
Black
don't know
Lives
that.
Matter?
You may learn something.
Well, we'll see, preacher. What is it about Black Lives Matter that you disagree with fundamentally?
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat, black, radical lesbians.
Okay.
And who
All
hate
right, have a good
God.
night. Get this clown off my show. I appreciate you.
Who
Thank you.
hate-
So the next day on his show, he decided, along with about 2 or 3 of his co-hosts, all white males, to bash me for roughly an hour and 30 minutes, calling me a beta male. Here's some of that.
Got you. This guy is totally against White History Month, right? Yeah, he had white people working for him. He's against White History Month, but he support Homosexuality Month and all that crap. What the? And I wonder, is it like those white people who are working for him, knowing that they are working with a hater?
Yeah, just insanity, right? Mr. Rooney claims Peterson, this is the longest documented relationship. Mr. Rooney claims that Peterson approached him sexually back in 2005. He said, and I quote, "Next thing you know, he's ripping his clothes off," Rooney told the website. He also claims he had a 10-year sexual relationship with Peterson after the first incident, but eventually ended things when he confessed the affair to his wife. He also confessed the affair to his son. Mr. Rooney said his son believed in Jesse Lee Peterson so much that his son actually thought Jesse Lee Peterson could literally walk on water. I cannot tell this story without the backdrop of religion being at play. Why did Jesse Lee Peterson get away with this for so long? Why was he able to operate like this for 31 years? Only the industry of religion would allow something this insane to continue without somebody uncovering it. And he utilized the goodness of people. When people have faith, when people believe in something, that comes from goodness. He manipulated that part of them that believed there was something bigger than what was inside of them, that believed there was something bigger than what they were experiencing. He took that and made them victims. He was a predator. He wasn't just gay. No issue with his homosexuality. Issue with his hypocrisy all day. Jesse Lee Peterson is known as the black man white conservatives and far-right white advocates love to champion. He denies the existence of white privilege, is against black people taking advantage of government programs that we pay into, and most importantly, he cannot stand homosexuality. Also, in a bizarre belief, more so than that, he said, and I quote, "Any woman that is climaxing is becoming a man because it's not normal for women to do that." I have to remind you, this guy has a combined 900,000 followers. We tried to get in touch with his PR company because we booked him before. Looks like everybody has dropped Jesse Lee Peterson. He's been canceled all over the country for his upcoming speaking engagements. Now, who's canceling him? Insignificant white bigots. They are canceling Jesse Lee Peterson. All right, we've seen this time and time again, attorney, individuals who are proclaiming to be against a particular thing are actually what they fight against themselves. Quite fascinating, but not abnormal.
No, not at all. It seems to be very common. And it's very sad, the level of self-hatred, the fact that these individuals go as far as tearing down others, also attacking other marginalized groups. You see the way that Peterson goes after women, going after black people, despite him himself being black. It just seems very evident that he has so much self-hatred, but also the predatory nature of his behavior and taking advantage of people in the most vulnerable state, using religion to capitalize on that. This is definitely the hallmark of not only be an individual who engages in self-hatred, but also engages in predatory behavior that is dangerous to our society at large. And so this is a good thing, without a doubt, that he has been exposed. At the same time, I think people need to open their eyes more, because I understand when it comes to religion that, you speak of Jesus being the shepherd and sheep, but we really need people not to be sheeps, but to truly open their eyes and to ask themselves if these prophets that they are listening to are really echoing the sentiments that the leader Jesus Christ would be echoing, because it seems that they are damn sure not when you look at people like Peterson.
You make such a compelling point that I would like to opine on. Jesus, Yahshua, preached nothing according to scripture about homosexuality, but he did preach about hypocrisy. He did preach about government corruption and taking care of the poor. And it's fascinating that these individuals have ripped away the fundamental principle of love in scripture. But I agree with you. People have to be thoughtful. God gave us a brain before he gave us a book. So you have to be thoughtful and utilize logic sometimes, because people like him will take advantage of you, blindly trusting your fake leader.
Man, listen. And I ain't even got too much to say on that. I wish my other cohorts was here so they could talk about this goofy ass nigga, man. But this nigga so motherfucking goofy, man. One, it's always the people that always got something to say about the LGBTQ, that always run around bashing them, that's always making the jokes. It's usually always them people that in turn are gay themselves. And that's what's funny as hell, and I'm glad that they touched on that the girls kind of touched on that shit. Like he used that shit, like he was a predator. He was something different. I didn't even know he was doing this shit for 30 years. 31 years, that's a long ass time, man, to be doing some bullshit like this, man. That nigga ought to be ashamed of himself. I just knew the first time I seen him, and motherfuckers he had different people on, and he was talking shit, like he was kind of he would pull people like DC Young Fly, and I don't know if he did one with T.I., but he had a couple other ones, man. He would pull some with a couple other them people, and he would just ask them stupid ass questions and just dumb shit that I just knew I ain't like that nigga, man. So I already knew where that shit was going, man. It's funny as hell. Time will tell, man. It'll always tell, man. That shit funny as hell. He caused a whole accident and fucking walked by, like he just fucking walked off.
Career that you have run from, like the chicken song that you play.
I wish I had the other aim.
You're running from your what you've been doing for 31 years.
Smack.
Trying to get us killed here. Jesse's so upset that he tried to cross the street before he should have, and caused these cars to stop and bash into each other. So upset that he tried to cross the street before he should have, and caused these cars to stop and bash.
Look at this shit.
Into each other. So that's because
just a piece of shit all the way around. This nigga, get this nigga off my screen, man. Enough of that goofy ass nigga. Anyway, man, moving on smoothly to the next one, man. We're gonna see what this is.
Art of TV news.
Our program director puts this
heat
stuff
wave
up,
in the
man.
UK is drawing comparisons to the Doomsday
So
movie
we'll check
Don't
this
Look
out.
Up. Here's the scene from the movie where a scientist is trying to make her voice heard.
Talking about the heat wave.
Are we not being clear? We're trying to tell you that the entire planet is about to be destroyed.
Okay. Well, it's, just something we do around here. We just keep the bad news light.
That was just a movie. This is not a British weather expert talking about people dying from crazy high temperatures in England and not being taken very seriously.
By early next week, you can scrap 20 degrees. It could well be 40 degrees. I think there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of excess deaths early next week.
So, John, I want us to be happy about the weather, and every single... I don't know whether something's happened to meteorologists to make you all a little bit fatalistic and harbingers of doom.
Oh boy. All right, CNN's chief climate correspondent Bill Weir joins me now. Bill, life imitating art to some extent here, but it really highlights how all of the evidence can be there and people just don't want to hear it, even as we are suffering from triple-digit temperatures in some parts of this country right now. It's just incredible.
Absolutely, Jim. But I also look at it from a different point of view. The fact that that is such an obvious punchline now shows how the public is moved in terms of awareness of this. I did that early in my career. I made those quips. Boy, it'd be nice to get some global warming up in here. You know, it's been an old trope. And just now are we coming to grips with the idea, as the UK over there, they hit almost 105 degrees Fahrenheit. Shakespeare didn't experience temperatures that hot. You know, going back to the Romans in the UK. And so now it's becoming much more in your face, and all of those. And now the debate has shifted a little bit as to whether or not it's happening, to whether it's too late to stop, or how bad is it going to get, all of the above.
To be or not to be, indeed. And we saw some incredible satellite photos from NASA of, I mean, I know you've talked about this before, of the dramatic water loss at Lake Mead out in Nevada at the Hoover Dam. It's the biggest reservoir in the United States. It's drying up. Add to that the sweltering temperatures that we've been talking about. How dire is the situation right now? We were just talking about the wildfires in California that are nasty. And I know there are folks out there who might say, oh, this is typical. This happens every summer. It gets hot. These things dry up. We have fires. It's different, right, Bill? This is different.
Well, just to widen out, and because we just as human beings, our species tends to normalize the horrible. You know, you notice a change and then you adjust to it. We went through all the cycles of that with the pandemic, right? This is, according to NASA and NOAA, June of 2022 was the 450th straight month over where the temperatures globally, on average, were higher than the 20th century. So only people now in their 40s remember a cooler than average month on Earth. And it's not cooling off, right? And so the mega drought, which is now 22 years long, there's no rain in the forecast. There's no huge snow year that is just where, you know, everybody's betting on. And those are the that's the First National Banks of Life, Powell and Meade for the West. The only reason we have a Los Angeles or an Albuquerque or San Diego is dam projects that held that water back. But those were built in a different time. And the Colorado River Compact was where they divvied up the water for 7 states in Mexico, was written after one of the wettest years in the 20s. And all that water has been over allocated. So now we're going to get into the really dicey human puzzle of who gives it up first. You're already seeing farmers in Arizona, you know, people who are last in line have to see their waters get cut. They've tried to get people out west to change their lifestyle voluntarily with modest success in that. Yeah, there's no happy news in sight, unfortunately.
And here's something you can't write off, this incredible statistic coming out of Greenland, where enough ice melted in 3 days that it could cover the state of West Virginia in a foot of water. I mean, you can't write off, I mean, what is happening in Greenland right now.
No, and the sea level rise, it happens so gradual, but it's accelerating. And so the new rate of it is what scares a lot of folks. But it's not just that the water is going to go up like in a bathtub around the world. It won't. It depends on where you are. It depends on tides and winds. But it's changing the way the heat exchange moves around the planet. All that fresh water sliding off of Greenland changes the conveyor belt of ocean water that goes from the Caribbean up to England. Okay. And that influences weather patterns. The same thing is happening in the jet stream. And now you're seeing these heat domes that are sitting. Scientists are seeing it's almost like these fingers from the North Pole that come down and pull the heat up over the skull of the Earth and just hold it there, smothering these. So these heat domes last in place a lot longer. And so again, the Earth we grew up on doesn't exist anymore. We're trying to figure out how the new one works in real time.
Nah.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we have our kids, our grandkids, people who are going to be coming up behind us wondering why haven't folks like you and me, folks who are older than us, why haven't we gotten a handle on this problem and tried to solve this problem? It's such a huge issue. Bill, we're so grateful to have you on this afternoon. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
That's funny. She didn't really lash out, but whatever. I don't know. But I do know I got a partner over there in the UK, man. He say it's hot, man. I hope he get him an AC, an air conditioner. I might have to send him a couple of these Arctic airs, man. But it's getting crazy everywhere, man. And it's funny that he said it's like fingers lifting it up and just holding it over, like holding the heat up there. That's crazy. I'm about to get more into that. That shit is crazy. It's kind of weird and kind of scary if you think about it, like how they talking about the global warming. You know what I'm saying? But we do know it's a thing, cause like they say, like when we were younger, things were cooler. Like, and I do know what he meant by that, cause like wintertime lasts a little. It's different here. It's different now. And I'm from a place like being here that we in Akron. It used to snow all the time for like 3-4 months, and it hardly does that. And I've been back 3 years, and we have not had a bad winter yet. Not horrible, you know. So I don't know, man. We're gonna see what happened. We're gonna see what happened, man. We're gonna see what happened. I want to touch on this right here. I didn't even know that this happened. That Master P lost Tati. I didn't know his daughter. I think that's her name, Tatiana. I think that was her name. I didn't know that she passed away. Let's check this out, man. Y'all get them ACs though. Get them ACs going, man. Y'all stay cool out there, man. That global warming is fucking shit up.
After his song Make Him
Hot
Say
everywhere.
topped the charts, he went on to build an empire investing in everything from fashion to real estate and spreading a message of racial equity through financial empowerment. That was his thing. Still is his thing. But today, the father of 9 is speaking in his very first TV interview about a very family tragedy. It hits very close to home, the loss of his daughter, Tatiana Miller.
Yeah, Tati.
She was 29. She'd been battling substance abuse for nearly a decade, and she openly discussed her struggle with addiction on the reality series Growing Up Hip Hop, where Master P and his son Romeo Miller encouraged Tatiana to get help. In May, though, Tatiana lost her battle with addiction and died by accidental overdose. Master P is now turning this heartbreaking loss into a mission, and he joins us now.
And it's crazy because I didn't even, as much as I follow
I'm
Master
so
P,
glad
I
to
didn't
see
even
you. I'm so sorry it's under these
him
circumstances
talk about
because
this.
it's not the natural order of things for parents to outlive their children.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very hard.
Coming from where I come from, coming from poverty, you would think that you would outlive your kids, and that was the mission.
Yeah.
And I feel like going to my daughter's funeral, I feel like I went to my own funeral, and I don't even want to go to no more funerals.
How were you notified, Percy, that she had?
My other daughter called me. It was the worst call that a parent can get. And knowing that you are successful, and you know, my sympathy go out to everybody that lost a child. When you look at this, and I said, I'm gonna turn my pain into passion, and I'm gonna turn it into a purpose, because I can't get my daughter back.
Yeah.
I love her. I think about her every day, and it took me and my family to go through something that I just can't stop thinking about. But I realized that I have to get out here and help and save other kids. So.
But did you think she was getting better? Because, you know, she had talked very openly about it. You as a family had talked very openly about getting her help on the show. Did you think she was getting better?
Oh, yeah, no, she was getting better. We had just got out of rehab, and she was on the right track. And the sad thing about it, I know that, you know, my daughter said, you know, I want to be the president. I want, like, you know, she was getting herself, like, I want to do something to help people. And that's why I said, you know, my daughter has been my parachute, and she was writing a book. I said, we have to get rid of the negative things and replace it with positive things.
When you look back on it, do you think that there are things that you should have done, not have done, things you should have said that you didn't said? Are you playing that tape in your head?
Oh, no, every parent do that. I
Yeah.
feel like I could have done more. I feel like, but you never know. Like you think, we've been going through this for 9 years, so you think, oh, you know what? She's gonna get past this, we're gonna go on and live happily ever after.
She's an adult.
And she's an adult. It's been plenty of times to where I was in situations that I had to, even if the police was involved, like she could go where she wants. She's over 18. So I had to deal with that struggle and pain. But my daughter had a lot of life left in her.
Yeah.
And she was a happy woman that knew that tomorrow she could do something better. So,
You know, and when something like this happens, it affects the whole family.
yes.
What did you do as a family to get through this? What have you been doing? What are you saying?
Well, my
amongst
thing
yourselves?
is anybody that's watching this, love your loved ones while they're here. Because once you walk out that door, you never know who's going to come back.
Did you speak to your own family about it?
Yeah,
What did you do?
I did a family meeting, and
After her death?
yes.
And what did you say in the family meeting?
Well, you know, I mean,
Maybe
I
it
asked my
was a
kids, I
family
say,
meeting.
what am I doing wrong? And so, you know, some of the kids say, you are controlling. So I had to look in my own mirror and say, you know, that's true, but I've only built parameters for protection out of love because I know where I come from and what I've been through. And when you look at mental illness and substance abuse, it's serious. It affects everybody, black, white, Asian, Latino, rich, poor. You look at now fentanyl, just a little thing of fentanyl, it's destroying
Take
family.
your life,
Take your
yeah.
life. I watched on the news today to where a mother was talking about her son was a good kid and he just went left one time and brought some pill and it killed him. So my thing is, it hurts so much as a family. Like we go, so for me, I broke so many stereotypes and I'm telling my kids, I told my son Romeo, I said, you know what? I broke a whole lot of stereotypes and curses that now you got to break, because he's my hero. Romeo is my hero.
Romeo is, yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like now he could change the next generation.
Because you work so hard to make sure that they didn't have the life that you had.
Yes.
Isn't that the point you're
Yes,
making?
and it's tough because when you lose somebody, they're not coming back. So when I got that phone call, I realized that my daughter's never coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the heartbreaking thing about this. And that's why I said, let me team up with NAMI. Let me team up with ARJ Cares. These are doctors. These are people that believe. I want to help people that look like us. We want to bring awareness to this. We want to save these. My whole purpose is now is, I don't know why you put me through this, God, and I'm not going to question you, but I'm going to get out here and save millions. I'm going to help. I'm going to do something.
And so your bottom line message to people who are worried about their own children or who are going through this is to do what?
You know what? Talk about it.
Yeah.
Don't hold this as
People
a
are
secret.
afraid to talk about
Stop, because when you talk about mental illness and you talk about substance abuse, people don't want to say this happened to my kid. But this is affecting us as Americans. If this is affecting people international, don't be afraid. And I'm even telling companies all across the world, like, stop holding this as a secret, because, you know, even me starting a brand, Soldier Snacks, I say, you know what? It's so many mental illness when you deal with soldiers going out there fighting for us, for our country. But who talks to these people? Who comfort them? You know, even like my daughter, when she's going through something, or her friends, because we just dealt with several of her friends losing their lives, and we never thought this would hit our house.
Well, nobody ever does, but people are looking at you today saying if it can happen to you and all that you have, it can happen to anybody.
Yes.
And you want people to know this can be avoided, but we do have to speak about it. We thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry this has happened to you
Yes.
and your family.
Man. Wow. Man, I did not know, man. Rest in peace, Tatiana Miller. I did not know this happened, man. Mental illness, substance abuse, they not lying, man. It's something that need to be talked about often, brung up. If you got a loved one with substance abuse or mental illness, man, reach out to them, man. Let them know you love them. Just be there for them. Just sometimes don't tell them nothing. Just listen to them. Don't even tell them nothing. It ain't even about telling. Sometimes they just want somebody to listen, man. Real talk. So let's look at this crazy shit. I just found this one, then we're going to end it off. I just found this little crazy shit. Then we're going to end it off on a couple little sports things. I don't know if y'all knew, but we just won the gold in Olympics in like the world or something, World Cup or whatever for racing or something. So that was dope. So let's get into this, man. This is wild as fuck, man. Y'all be safe out here on this road.
Rage incidents are on the increase around the country, and this is one of the wildest yet. This pair is being called a real-life Bonnie and Clyde after she pulled out a gun and shot at a car with a 2-year-old boy in the back seat. Jim Murray with more on the scary confrontation that was caught on tape.
A woman opens fire on a car, and there's a 2-year-old child in the back seat. Seconds later, she fires again. The duo in this shocking road rage incident is being dubbed Bonnie and Clyde. 40-year-old Nasli Ortiz and 34-year-old Benjamin Green were quickly arrested by Houston cops who are cracking down on road rage incidents like this. The shocking shooting is the latest in a national road rage epidemic. 2021 was the worst year on record, with 500 people killed or wounded.
We've got units en route to a gunshot wound on Highway 18.
In Portland, Oregon, police say a rage-filled gunman in this black BMW shot dead 45-year-old father of 3, Dennis Anderson. I spoke to his partner, who was in the passenger seat. She asked not to be identified.
They pulled up parallel to us and just started shooting with 2 hands. They had the gun in 2 hands, and it was a lot of bullets. I was still in my seatbelt in the passenger side, and I couldn't get out, and I was trying to call 911, and I kept dialing 119.
And you won't believe what is said to have triggered this tragic road rage murder. The victim was using his windshield washer, and as is often the case, some of the spray apparently flew off and hit the car behind him. Police say that trivial incident was enough to get the driver so mad, he was ready to kill. What do you want to say to the people who did this?
I don't know how you can sleep knowing that you did something like this.
AAA's Robert Sinclair says the upsurge in road rage is partly due to the pandemic.
We're all on edge as a result of being cooped up for the past 2 years because of COVID. And when we take that attitude and we get out on the road, we engage in bad driving behavior.
I don't want to hear that shit.
The woman accused of firing the shots was charged with aggravated assault. The male suspect was charged with assault.
Like, what the fuck? I don't know about y'all. I don't know what I could have, what I would have did. I do. Because I'd have been shooting back, but with my kids in the car, I probably would have hit the block. I don't know. I would have did something, dropped them off. That shit, I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. I might would have started smacking back. Ain't no telling, bro. That shit right there made me so motherfucking hot. Like, she ain't even had no reason. Like, I ain't even see them hit her or nothing. Like, they ain't do nothing. Like, that shit was wild.
34-year-old Ben, 40-year-old Nasli Ortiz. A woman opens fire on a car.
On tape.
A woman opens fire on a car, and there's a 2-year-old child in the back seat. Seconds later, she fires again. The duo in this shocking road rage incident is being dubbed Bonnie and Clyde. 40-year-old Nasli Ortiz and 34-year-old Benjamin Green were quickly arrested.
I ain't even see him. I don't know. That shit was crazy. Like, I ain't even see her hit nothing. I ain't seen them hit nothing, man. They ain't even, like, hit her or do nothing crazy. That shit was wild. That just make you know you gotta keep that thing on you when you in traffic. Ruffy Drib in the crib.
Good.
Shit, chillin', cuz. Shit, about to wrap it up down there to the last little segment. Unless you had something to slap up there.
It's only been an hour. Oh, y'all started at 8?
No, I started at like 9, but it's been like an hour. I've been flying solo. I've been flying the plane.
Oh. Oh, P ain't even in here, huh?
No, he said he was gonna come, but shit, I was with him earlier in the city, and he had dipped out. I was calling him. I was gonna do the show from the city, from Shy City, like at the studio, but I don't know. I couldn't get a hold of him on the phone and shit.
Yeah.
But shit, I talked about Master P daughter.
Oh yeah, that was pretty sad.
Yeah, bro. That shit. You know that dude, your boy. You know your boy, Pastor Pastor Jesse Lee caused the accident. Did you see that?
Nah.
Here, I'll let you see that.
Yeah, man, I had a
follow up
this class for work, man. I ain't get out of that shit till like 8 something.
Oh shit, it's all good, cuz I ain't tripping. I know motherfuckers be busy and shit, and doing shit and shit starting back up.
Yeah, you see Jesse Lee Peterson got been accused of rape and sexual imposition by all them white dudes.
Yes.
He cried.
Yeah, that's why I said, bro, I never knew he was doing this shit for 30 years, nigga.
Yeah,
he had a whole cult, bro.
He is freak.
I just knew this nigga was a goofball, and I ain't never liked this nigga, bro.
Not only is anti-LGBTQ Pastor Jesse Lee Peterson gay, he's a predator.
This nigga caused a whole
He may have
accident.
even hit on David Pacman. And he ran away and caused an accident when someone confronted him. Here's the video.
Hey, Jesse Peterson. Martin Francis here. How are you?
That nigga ugly as fuck, bro.
So, I'm the first man in your whole career. I am the first man in your whole career that you have run from. Like the chicken song that you play. You are running from me. You're running from your what you've been doing for 31 years. Trying to get us killed here.
Trying to get us killed here.
Jesse's so upset that he tried to cross the street before he should have, and caused these cars to stop and bash into each other.
Smack.
So
look at him
that's
walking
because,
away, bro.
I now have video proof more so than before.
Tell them about you sleeping with your brother's wife.
Oh, that's nice. He wants me to tell them how I was sleeping with my brother's wife. That's fine. But Jesse, why will you not speak on your homosexual behaviors?
I have more video. Now, once again, no issue with the fact that Jesse Lee Peterson is in fact gay. The issue is he has literally taken a position for over 30 years, has been paid money in order to represent a position antithetical to the movement of a community that he belongs to. He has animated violence against individuals who are members of the LGBTQ community. He has lived his sexual freedoms while telling the world they must be legally restricted. David Pacman, great brother, actually has gone on Jesse Lee Peterson's show, and he gave some insight into his experience with Peterson. Here it is.
It turns out, it appears that the very openly homophobic, anti-gay Christian pastor Jesse Lee Peterson is gay. And I'm going to talk about my experience with him, which included him being pretty handsy with me, to be perfectly honest. I wasn't sexually harassed. I didn't feel intimidated or anything. But at the time, I just wrote it off to this guy's just a character. He's just handsy. But I'm going to get back to that. Okay, so here's the story. The Daily Beast now reporting allegations of manosphere pastors' gay past, royal macho men. Jesse Lee Peterson has emerged as one of the right's most vocal anti-gay figures, but his one-time friends now allege that the pastor has had many same-sex relationships. There are I'm not going to give you every claim, but there are so many stories now of people saying, ridiculous. I was involved in sexual, men saying I was involved in sexual activity with Jesse Lee Peterson. He comes on to people aggressively in many cases.
That's right.
Yes.
Mr. Pac-Man, it's even more sinister than that. You see, I actually watched the interview of every single man
We about to find that.
who had their story.
That's right.
Jesse Lee Peterson is a predator. You see, here's what he did. He took individuals who had a substance abuse problem.
This the fucked up
moved
part.
them into his home called the Bond, basically a compound, a cult. And he said that he would counsel them, that God appointed him as his counselor. And as the relationship would continue, Jesse Lee Peterson would engage in these special counseling sessions that included sexual assault.
Yanking on
It included him doing things to these other men that he called their second baptism and them being born again. He was a predator to these men who were broken. They were hurt and they were looking for salvation, and they found it in this charlatan. Now, when Jesse Lee Peterson was on my program, I had no idea that he was a predator, but I would not allow him to bash gay people, black people, and women. Here's how that went. This is probably going to end up being an utter waste of my time having you on the show. What are your thoughts about
You
Black
don't know
Lives
that.
Matter?
You may learn something.
Well, we'll see, preacher. What is it about Black Lives Matter that you disagree with fundamentally?
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat, black, radical lesbians.
Okay.
And who
All right,
hate
have a good
God.
night. Get this clown off my show. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Everyone, hey, dog. And look at the end, dog. Find that, man.
Something.
We'll see. So my time.
He got his mustache destroyed in the clip.
Salvation, and they found it in this charlatan. Now, when Jesse Lee Peterson was on my program, I had no idea that he was a predator, but I would not allow him to bash gay people, black people, and women. Here's how that went. This is probably going to end up being an utter waste of my time having you on the show. What are your thoughts about
You
Black
don't know
Lives
that.
Matter?
You may learn something.
Well, we'll see, preacher. What is it about Black Lives Matter that you disagree with fundamentally?
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat, black, radical lesbians.
Okay.
And who
All right,
hate
have a good
God.
night. Get this clown off my show. I appreciate you.
Who
Thank you.
hate
So the next day on his show, he decided, along with about 2 or 3 of his co-hosts, all white males, to bash me for roughly an hour and 30 minutes, calling me a beta male. Here's some of that.
Fat black
Got you.
lesbians.
This guy is totally against White History Month, right? Yeah, he had white people working for him. He's against White History Month, but he supports Homosexuality Month and all that crap. What the? And I wonder, is it like for those white people who are working for him, knowing that they are working with a hater?
The hater.
Yeah, just insanity, right? Mr. Rooney claims Peterson, this is the longest documented relationship. Mr. Rooney claims that Peterson approached him sexually back in 2005. He said, and I quote, "Next thing you know, he's ripping his clothes off," Rooney told the website. He also claims he had a 10-year sexual relationship with Peterson after the first incident, but eventually ended things when he confessed the affair to his wife. He also confessed the affair to his son. Mr. Rooney said his son believed in Jesse Lee Peterson so much that his son actually thought Jesse Lee Peterson could literally walk on water. I cannot tell this story without the backdrop of religion being at play. Why did Jesse Lee Peterson get away with this for so long? Why was he able to operate like this for 31 years? Only the industry of religion would allow something this insane to continue without somebody uncovering it.
But he mad.
And he
I
utilized
was just saying earlier, I wish he was here.
the goodness of people. When people have faith, when people believe in something, that comes from goodness. He manipulated that part of them that believed there was something bigger than what was inside of them, that believed there was something bigger than what they were experiencing. He took that and made them victims. He was a predator. He wasn't just gay. No issue with his homosexuality, issue with his hypocrisy all day. Jesse Lee Peterson is known as the black man white conservatives and far-right white advocates love to champion. He denies the existence of white privilege, is against black people taking advantage of government programs that we pay into, and most importantly, he cannot stand homosexuality. Also, in a bizarre belief, more so than that, he said, and I quote, any woman that is climaxing is becoming a man because it's not normal for women to do that. I have to remind you, this guy has a combined 900,000 followers. We tried to get in touch with his PR company because we booked him before. Looks like everybody has dropped Jesse Lee Peterson. He's been canceled all over the country for his upcoming speaking engagements. Now, who's canceling him? Insignificant white bigots. They are canceling Jesse Lee Peterson. All right, we've seen this time and time again, attorney, individuals who are proclaiming to be against a particular thing are actually what they fight against themselves. Quite fascinating, but not abnormal.
No, not at all. It seems to be very common. And it's very sad, the level of self-hatred, the fact that these individuals go as far as tearing down others, also attacking other marginalized groups. You see the way that Peterson goes after women, going after black people, despite him himself being black. It just seems very evident that he has so much self-hatred, but also the predatory nature of his behavior and taking advantage of people in the most vulnerable state, using religion to capitalize on that. This is definitely the hallmark of not only an individual who engages in self-hatred, but also engages in predatory behavior that is dangerous to our society at large. And so this is a good thing, without a doubt, that he has been exposed. At the same time, I think people need to open their eyes more, because I understand when it comes to religion that, you speak of Jesus being the shepherd and sheep, but we really need people not to be sheep, but to truly open their eyes and to ask themselves if these prophets that they are listening to are really echoing the sentiments that the leader Jesus Christ would be echoing, because it seems that they are damn sure not when you look at people like Peterson.
You make such a compelling point that I would like to opine on. Jesus, Yahshua, preached nothing according to scripture about homosexuality, but he did preach about hypocrisy. He did preach about government corruption and taking care of the poor. And it's fascinating that these individuals have ripped away the fundamental principle of love in scripture. But I agree with you. People have to be thoughtful. God gave us a brain before he gave us a book.
Let's see this. I want to see where these niggas is at.
I cried, dog.
What the fuck is this?
Jesse Lee.
She trolled this nigga. Sleep.
He tried to call him a beta male.
Yeah.
He should have let him keep going though.
Yeah, he should have.
Had black lesbians, dog. We know they black. Well, why you have to say black?
Right. Cause he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Jesse Lee Peterson is gay. All right? He was on the show. He started to bash members of the LGBTQ community in the bullpen, and I kicked him off the program. Now, multiple individuals that he has sexual relationships with, they did a full interview about their encounters with him over many years and the involvement that he has had.
Because he was getting
with
money for
many
that shit,
men during his tenure as the head of Bond, which is an organization dedicated, according to preacher Jesse Lee Peterson, an organization that is supposed to rebuild men.
For some bread.
Now remember, there is no issue with Jesse Lee Peterson being gay, in my opinion, whatsoever. The issue is his hypocrisy. This man has literally made a life and monetized off of bashing members of a community that he's actually a part of. Let me remind you of that interview a few months ago. Here it is. This is probably going to end up being an utter waste of my time having you on the show. What are your thoughts about
You
Black
don't know
Lives
that.
Matter?
You may learn something.
Well, we'll see, preacher. What is it about Black Lives Matter that you disagree with fundamentally?
Black Lives Matter was founded by a bunch of fat, black, radical lesbians.
Okay.
And who hate
have a good
God.
night. Get this clown off my show. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Lesbians.
Yeah. I said, get this clown off my show. I mean every word of it. Now, there's one testimony I'm going to bring you first. It's an interview.
That'd have been funny if he had
The individual gives a lot of detail. I don't have time on this show to go through all of the interviews, but here's part of it.
Look, this is what I want to see.
All of a sudden he turned to me and just looked at me and he said, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" And he said it in a tone that was really insistent. And I'd never seen this tone from him before. It was like kind of scary. It kind of scared me. Like what? What do you want to do? I knew what he meant, and then I told him, well, okay. And at first I'm scared, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm playing along here. It kind of threw me off my game, I guess, in a way. I think later I realized that's kind of something that people do sometimes. It's like the devil works in a certain way by intimidating you, and it throws you off your normal game.
What did he say?
And so he said, "What do you want to do?" And he's like, "Okay, I'm scared." And then I told him what I want to do. I mentioned sex acts, that he knew about, that I had already talked to him about, that I was interested in. And next thing you know, he's ripping his clothes off and coming at me, basically. And I did the same, took my clothes off. And next thing you know, we're fully at it, having, not getting into detail here, but basically full-on sexual acts.
That is Mr. Patrick Rooney. Mr. Rooney has known Mr. Peterson since 1992. They have been on programs together. They have preached together. They have traveled the country together. In that testimony, in that interview of his experiences.
Ain't gay.
Who?
I do. Both of them gonna try to say they ain't gay.
Jesse
and the dude who was just talking.
Well, shit, he said he already said he was interested.
Oh, that's what he said?
Yeah, that's what the white dude just said. And then he said he didn't know, like he said he had already talked about it. Like, cause remember he had them niggas at the ranch. So they probably had group and all that shit, like, you know what I mean? So he probably heard him say some shit in group and pulled him off to the side in the nigga.
Right.
That's what he said. He was like, see, looking at me like, what you would do?
Right.
He said, and we was fully at it.
Fully at it. Full on.
This nigga is, listen, man. If they don't put this nigga under the jail worse than R. Kelly.
They not. He plugged in.
Well, you heard him just say they counseling him. They pulling his shit, his PR and everything. Let me finish seeing what they talking about before we get
with Jesse Lee Peterson. I need you to remember there's a mixed bag here.
Pulling to conclusion.
Because while a Christian right organization did these interviews, they're not doing them to stand as allies with members of the LGBTQ community. They're doing it because they believe Jesse Lee Peterson has betrayed their sacred trust of manhood or some ridiculous garbage like that. So as far as the media company, the media platform, I don't subscribe to. But the individuals who have decided to come forward, I believe their stories are quite credible. Here's another one.
So then he starts rubbing my thighs, and I'm like, okay, what is he doing? Like, it's kind of crazy. And then he starts rubbing my genital area, and I'm like, what's happening right now? And then he pulls down my pants, and then I'm like, I'm shocked. I'm not saying anything. I'm like, my face is like, whoa, what the hell is happening right now?
From there, Jesse instructed Samuel to go into his so-called meditation called the silent prayer.
And he's like, doubt all thoughts are lies. Everything Satan is telling you is a lie. And I'm like, okay, but inside it's telling me, hey, this is not good. What are you doing? What are you allowing him to do?
Once again, the issue is not about the homosexuality of Jesse Lee Peterson. Jesse Lee Peterson has taken money for years to go around this country to animate violence and hate against members of the LGBTQ community. That's what he's done. And I apologize, I get emotional about this because individuals like Jesse Lee Peterson are the reason that many individuals in the community cannot be free to be themselves. Now, this is the most troubling of all of the accusations so far.
Another alleged victim was Trayvon Chapman, who in 2015 told his friend, now 43-year-old Armand Martikian, that Jesse molested him.
Well, the first thing came out of his mouth, that Jesse's homosexual. And I say, he can't be saying this, like he's all against it. He's a, straight conservative man who, this is like, what you're saying is bizarre, doesn't make sense. But at the same time, it kind of struck me as a truth. What this guy was saying, he was explaining the incidents, like certain acts that they would do. They had some nicknames. Jesse had nicknames for it, say, instead of telling what the act is, he named it oral massage, according to Trayvon.
Fucking done.
Many of the individuals who have decided to go on record, they have made it very clear they were vulnerable. They were coming from a bad place in life. Some of them were addicted to drugs and alcohol. They saw Jesse Lee Peterson as a savior to them. Mr. Rooney, when he decided to come clean to his son and his wife about his ongoing sexual affair with Jesse Lee Peterson, he said his son got mad at him because he literally believed Jesse Lee Peterson could walk on water. He called Jesse Lee Peterson with his son on the phone, and preacher Peterson admitted to the affair. Once again, he has been accepting money for damn near 30 years to go around and bash members, our brothers and sisters, part of the community. Los Angeles anti-gay pastor, online radio host, and manosphere star, Jesse Lee Peterson, is alleged to have had multiple gay relationships and exhibited a pattern of sexual harassment against male associates. Several of Peterson's former friends and associates have come forward, including one.
Let me pause this shit. Cuz.
Manosphere.
Yes. Are you hip to this shit?
What, the manosphere?
Yes.
No.
You're not? Okay,
No.
we're gonna go into this. I just learned about it like last week, bro. It's a real thing. We're getting ready to go into it in a minute. I'm gonna show you something. We're gonna go into this shit in a minute, bro. This shit is a real thing, and these motherfuckers is really out here.
Who claimed he had been in a decade-long sexual relationship with Peterson. Now, there are people who are saying, well, why are they just now coming out? There are some Jesse Lee Peterson defenders here. First of all, it doesn't matter when they come out. If they were sexually harassed by their preacher, by their pastor, they can come out anytime. okay? But the reality is many of these individuals did. Some of them tried to document this and recorded Jesse Lee Peterson as he was walking away from them. And they were saying, why did you do this to me? So this is not the first time. This is the first time everything has been coordinated and it hit an actual media platform that distributed to the masses. That's the first. The accusations have caused leading figures in the online manosphere, which is a ridiculous group they've made up, a loose network of men's rights activists, groups, and similar organizations to distance themselves from Peterson, banning him from events and speaking engagements. Now remember, he's getting canceled by insignificant white bigots. That's who's canceling Jesse Lee Peterson right now, okay? The radical right-wing Catholic Church militant group first broke the story in June with a 30-minute video. That was part of that video. The first person you saw was Patrick Rooney, who has known Peterson since 1992, claims in the video that the pastor made subtle sexual advances toward him for years, but they did not become sexually involved until 2005. Two other former Bond members. Now, let me remind you of what the Bond membership was about. He literally had men living with him at his, let's call it compound, where he said he was redeeming men, all right? He had them living together. They were vulnerable. Many of them just came from a very dark situation to only encounter Jesse Lee Peterson. And one former friend of Peterson's also appeared in the video describing incidents in which Peterson allegedly abused or made sexual advances upon themselves and other vulnerable men. The video also alleges that in October 2020, Peterson's Twitter account liked a post featuring a gay porn clip. And that's actually true. Peterson was asked about this on his radio show. Everybody who brought it up, he claimed that they were either evil or they were gay. Peterson has reportedly refused to address the allegations in the video, telling one caller on the show that, and I quote, is not concerning to me. Peterson has described homosexuality as the, and I quote, spirit of the devil, infecting people, and asserted that it is the result of abuse. In June 2021, Peterson, who was black, called for Christians to celebrate White History Month in opposition to LGBTQ Pride Month. This guy right here has made a living off of being a catalyst for hate, propaganda, misinformation against members of the community. Now, on a very just personal level, when I tell you I can't stand people like him, I cannot stand them. But on the general policy dynamic, these are the people that give cover to Christian evangelicals, that give cover to right-wing politicians who create policies that are antithetical to the progress of this nation. All right, my dear sister, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes, anytime, we see someone like this have their, personal life really played out in the news, I don't really feel bad that it's violating his personal space or his privacy, because this is someone who is frequently, weaponizing ideas of gender and sexuality. The idea of the manosphere is something I didn't know of before this story, a hyper-masculine right-wing internet community. Yes. And to call it the manosphere, I mean, it's almost comedic, but I can't say it's comedic because it's pretty toxic. He asserted once that a woman who climaxes during sex is becoming a man. And people who enforce this way of thinking, I think, are insecure about their own behavior, and it's important that they're called out because this is about freedom. And when you enjoy certain freedoms in private, but create a hostile environment for others to enjoy those same freedoms in public, I just don't feel bad that you're in the news for this. And I hope that things like this happen enough, where these advocates who are doing exactly what they condemn other people for doing, I hope it happens enough that people realize it's in everyone's self-interest to stop creating these narrow buckets for sexuality and sex and gender roles, and just recognize that our experiences are complicated. Growing up, I'm a woman. I really feel like I identify like a woman. But when my mom said you have to put on the frilly, itchy socks and act like a lady, I didn't like it growing up. So, you don't have to be transgender, and you don't have to necessarily be queer for gender norms and norms around sexuality to affect you. It's important we have the freedoms to live our lives however we want to, especially the most intimate parts of our lives, without confronting prejudice in society or in the eyes of the law. And the fact that he made money off of this makes it all the more worse.
Yeah, that's the funniest shit.
Yeah, I cried, man.
Bro, that nigga said, why was he? Why was that fat white dude speaking for the black dude?
I don't know, man. Go back. I was in that part.
Did you peep that?
Jesse Lee Peterson.
Oh,
when he said this is the worst one.
Harassed.
They put a picture of the dude up, and he
the story.
said,
Let me remind you.
He said, "This is
doesn't." Once
right
again,
here.
the issue is not.
Victim was Trayvon Chapman,
Here we
who
go.
in 2015
free
I
to be
need to
themselves.
find this. I need to
Now,
find this
is
video.
the most troubling of all of the accusations so far.
This is the most troubling.
Another alleged victim was Trayvon Chapman, who in 2015
Look,
told his friend, now 43-year-old Armand Martikian, that Jesse molested him.
Well, the first thing came out of his mouth that Jesse's homosexual. And I say, he can't be saying this, like he's all against it. He's a, straight
amazing
conservative
disgrace,
man
church militant.
who, this is like, what you're saying is bizarre, doesn't make sense. But at the same time, it kind of struck me as a truth. What this guy was saying, he was explaining the incidents, like certain acts that they would do. They had some nicknames. Jesse had nicknames for it, say, instead of telling what the act is, he named it oral massage, according to Trayvon.
Oral massage.
Nigga. And I know you about to get on, man. I know you about to use that shit. That's your new shit. Nigga looking for some oral massage. Bro.
I can't be affiliated with JLP.
Right, facts. Facts. I'm about to say I can't be saying that shit.
No way.
No way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I'm totally against that guy.
That nigga, man. Bro, this shit. But look, everything I got on the manosphere, man, I'll just do it in short, man. Look, in short, the manosphere, because I'm trying to look it up, and everything is like fucking long as hell, like hours, like an hour long. But it's these niggas, it's these fucking white people, or it's mainly white people, but it's really a group. But look, man, these motherfuckers are, it's dudes. Look, Manosphere highlights daily. Woman gets rejected and refuses to take L. I'm not okay. So look. Oh, this is a short one. This one is funny. This should be funny. So basically, before they get into it, what I have found out, it's like a group of right wing motherfuckers, bro. Who it starts off in the right wing, and it's like a whole bunch of niggas who can't get pussy, right? So they're against women, and they're against feminists. They're against. They say feminism is poison. I mean, there are some things that feminism has fucked up, and there are things that feminism has fucked up. But like, they go further to say like stupid shit, like dude said, like if a woman is climaxing, she's becoming a man. Like,
yeah, I said thing.
Yeah, dog. Like, and it's really like these motherfuckers that really can't get pussy, dog, and they mad at women. And for real, a couple of it has one of them niggas, bro. And I think maybe the nigga from the Atlanta shooting too. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to everybody for that. You know, the nail salons with the Chinese ladies. I think, or no, the massage parlors or whatever that was, nail salon massage, whatever it was that had got shot up. He was like, he's one of their biggest heroes, and he did that shit because of women. They think women is the devil, bro, and they are hard. Most, like a lot of them, are responsible for these videos where they put out and they like bash women. And they like expose like gold digging women, like silly shit, like dumb shit like that. Like they just do fun. Like we all know gold diggers there. That shit funny. It's cool, but like these niggas take shit to the whole extreme. Now I want to see what they actual definition for it is on here, cause that's what I had learned that that's what it was. So I want to see what these motherfuckers gotta say.
The manosphere or androsphere is a name given in the early 21st century to a loose and informal network of blogs, forums and websites, with internet commentators focusing on issues relating to men and masculinity, as a male counterpart to feminism or in opposition to it. Many of these are men's spaces. Their content is varied, and includes men going their own way, men's rights issues, fathers' rights movement activists, and male victims of abuse, self-improvement, bodybuilding, anti-feminism, and seduction community commentary for pickup artists. Some of these forums have been described in the media and by the Southern Poverty Law Center (SPLC) of the United States as promoting a misogynistic worldview. Caitlin Dewey of The Washington Post has described the manosphere as a vast, diverse network of blogs and forums. According to The Guardian columnist Ava Wiseman, the manosphere is a mix of men, pickup artists, male victims of abuse, fathers' rights proponents, who come together online. Notable examples of manosphere sites reportedly include the Red Pill Room, a voice for men, and Rushvi's website Return of Kings, as well as his personal blog and forum. The manosphere has its own distinct jargon. Manosphere websites commonly use red pill and blue pill imagery as an analogy. Accepting the manosphere's ideology is equated with taking the red pill, and blue pill refers to those who disagree with their philosophy. The terms alpha male and beta male are also commonly used. Reddit is a popular gathering place for manosphere supporters. Several forums on the site are geared toward its ideas. One of these, the Red Pill subreddit, has more than 100,000 subscribers. According to Caitlin Dewey of The Washington Post, the manosphere's core philosophy basically boils down to this. 1. Feminism has overrun/corrupted modern culture, in violation of nature/biology/inherent gender differences. And 2. Men can best seduce women/ save society in general by embracing a super-dominant, uber-masculine gender role, forcing ladies to fall into step behind them. Ava Wiseman of The Guardian said that advocates of the men's rights movement are united by their belief that feminism is the enemy. They are strongly opposed to circumcision and believe that a double standard exists in society and how circumcision is viewed relative to female genital mutilation. GQ's Jeff Charlotte described A Voice for Men as surprisingly pro-gay, or at least anti-gay. Rod Dreher of The American Conservative has said that the manosphere dehumanizes both men and women. Caitlin Dewey accuses it of excluding gay, lesbian, and transgender people. Mark Potok, a spokesman of the Southern Poverty Law Center (SPLC), said that the forums are filled with pure unvarnished women hatred and compares the manosphere to white supremacist websites. The SPLC later added a caveat, saying, "It should be mentioned that the SPLC did not label Murs as members of a hate movement. Nor did our article claim that the grievances they air on their websites, false rape accusations, ruinous divorce settlements and the like, are all without merit. But we did call out specific examples of misogyny and the threat, overt or implicit, of violence." Michael Brendan Doherty of Business Insider criticized the SPLC for including manosphere sites on its list of hate groups and for providing pejorative personal details on the site's authors. Mike Riggs of libertarian magazine Reason also criticized the SPLC for defining manosphere sites as hate groups. Said Riggs, "Take note, America, having consensual sex. Rush is not a rapist, but a seducer with someone you don't actually like and then never calling her/him again will land you in a reputation-ruining SPLC report." Ava Wiseman has written that commenters on manosphere blogs often make statements to the effect that women are designed solely for sex and sandwich making. She has suggested that the tone of these websites creates a culture that contributes to violence against women. Following the 2014 Isla Vista killings in California, many mainstream news sources reported links between the killer Elliot Rodger and posts to a manosphere forum about the pickup artist community. Caitlin Dewey, writing for The Washington Post, said that while the manosphere was not to blame for Rodger's attack and it would be irresponsible to make that claim, Rodger's misogynistic rhetoric seems undeniably influenced by the manosphere. Many manosphere commenters also strongly rejected any attempts to blame the manosphere for the killings, with one commenter writing that his is a perfect case of someone who needed the red pill. Because it's somewhere he could come to vent, and be angry, and not have his pain be dismissed, ridiculed or ignored. Professor Michael Kimmel similarly opined it would be facile to argue the manosphere urged to do this. "I think those places are kind of a solace. They provide a kind of locker room, a place where guys can gripe about all the bad things that are being done to them by women." In the days immediately following the shooting, other manosphere sites, such as A Voice for Men, saw a huge increase in traffic. Nicholas James Pell of paleoconservative site Takis magazine said that the manosphere asks difficult questions and poses uncomfortable truths. Pell criticized a report by ABC News on the manosphere for not giving the topic a fair shake and concluded that the men's rights wing of the manosphere is distinguished by a class and refinement totally missing from the shrieking hysteria of modern feminist blogging. BBC television personality Reggie Yates made a documentary on Britons who take part in the manosphere.
Yeah, so that's what that shit is. And it's a bunch of motherfuckers. It's motherfuckers who, like the little thing said, they got like pickup line. It's like a secret little society. It's motherfuckers who they got like pickup lines and shit for you to be like telling women and shit for you to sites and shit for you to get chicks like to fuck with you and to fuck you and never they ghost them and just it's they got shit that basically they claim they teaching motherfuckers how to dog women. You know what I'm saying? And I thought that shit was fucking hilarious.
They corny.
Right.
Don't know how to, like they be trying to talk like they alpha males, but really, if you feel like you got to do all that, you a beta male. Or what's the other one? It's an alpha male, a beta male, or something else. But you definitely on the lower end of the spectrum.
Hell yeah! If you can't, first of all, if you can't actually run your motherfucking career, because for one, it shouldn't be shit that you're supposed to be running, but your motherfucking career. You ain't supposed to be running nobody else's shit if you ain't got no motherfucking chick. You know what I'm saying? If you ain't got no woman, and you ain't got this, and the shit ain't in line, like everything ain't right, and you ain't taking care of your business, you know what I'm saying? Then you ain't no alpha shit, and ain't no bitch gonna want to fuck with you in the first motherfucking place.
Yeah, I don't know what their problem is.
Like it's funny as hell because all them niggas is. It seemed like to me when they explained it. What up,
It
Mark?
sounds like they all got little wee wees from what all they were saying.
That's what I'm saying. What kind of shit is that?
That's what it sound like.
If a woman is climaxing, she becoming a man. Who kind of says some bullshit
If
like
a
that?
woman is climaxing, she is becoming a man. So you ain't, so she ain't supposed to get nothing out of this, huh? They gay, man. They gay.
And that's what I said, bro.
Is the leader of it.
Yeah, JLPZ.
He want to have you, come confess your. Hold on, come on, mama, come on. Come in here. Come in here.
Oh,
my mom, she was. Oh, so my mom. I don't know if y'all heard it, but my mom said women don't climax; they have orgasms. I thought it was the same thing. I see what you saying, though, mom. I think it's still the same. But I understand it's different. It's different. It's different. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, but no, these group of men are the manosphere. One of their main rules is if a woman is enjoying sex, then she becoming like a man. Like women ain't supposed to enjoy sex.
And they believe that they only here for basically sex and sandwich making.
Well, no, they only believe women are here for procreation and sandwich making. Fixing something to eat.
Right, they corny. They whack as hell.
That's what I said, man. It sounds like little wee wee energy to me. I don't understand.
Facts. That's what it sounds like. Mark Life.
You posted if you messing with anybody on that type of level, like that's your team, that's your partner. Mm-hmm. They supposed to be getting the same benefits you getting. I'll just make it seem like you the only one reaping any goodness out of this. That ain't right.
Right, and the thing is, they hold and that's how you know it ain't right, because their whole little view is that women ain't shit. Like they less than us, or they equal. Or like a woman can't be as smart as a man. Like it ain't women that it like we would like. I just put the little thing up. Like it ain't women throughout history that was leading kingdoms. Like that can do this shit. Like we all the same. The intelligence is on what you feed your brain.
But you gotta understand though. You gotta understand. That's really part of our culture, not part of theirs. Because you see when this shit first started, all the dope women, they burnt them at the stake. Mm-hmm. You couldn't even be raw back in the day, or you was a witch.
Right.
You couldn't even be a raw woman when this country was getting founded, because they was gonna burn you up. Right. Talking about you was a witch just because you was dope.
Yeah, you ain't lying. And we come from dope women. That's why we dope.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a shit. Man, you ain't lying. And if you think about it, bro, like me and you had a discussion, like, man, like sometimes, like nigga, I really firmly believe, bro, like nigga, white women is some of the worst on earth, dog. They like the worst. I think they worse than white men. Honestly. And that shit crazy. They got something, it's something, bro, it's something about them. Oh no, my nigga. No. Like, nah. But nah, man. You right though. That ain't their history. That's our history, man. To our queens and shit. And they got their little, I guess they fake. It seems like everything they make up fake be in their history and shit. Like the Vikings and the Nords and all that shit. I mean, they probably was here, but that shit, I don't know. It just seemed like some mythical shit. Our shit, you can actually dig up. You can see.
Right. Yeah.
You can see representation of ours. You know what I mean?
They shit like Conan. You see that? You know, that shit don't even exist for real life.
Right. Exactly, nigga. Our shit. You can look up on the pyramid walls, nigga, throughout the time, nigga, and see our shit, nigga.
But they did. But you see in Conan though, you see how peaceful James Earl Jones was because they knew.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
You know what I'm
You a fool. You taking it back to the original Conan.
Yeah, they be showing you like, you know, like they be giving you little hints and shit, but they don't want you to know the whole thing.
I'm gonna tell you some other shit too. I'm gonna tell you some other shit that me and wifey be into some shit, some real tough shit. Like we both like pirates, and you know, like I be like kind of researching them motherfuckers. You know, the craziest, some of the best pirates, like the most feared pirates, nigga on this earth, nigga was black. And they still is. Like, look at the Somali ones. You know what I'm saying? Look at the little Somali niggas. When they come out with them little ass boats, they be capturing whole big ass motherfucking freighters, nigga, on them little ass banana boats, nigga. Like, you know what I mean? They be knocking shit down. Like, it's, man, we got a lot of motherfucking history, dog, that they hid from us because they don't want us to know who we is.
Right. They don't. They don't want us to know. I mean, they didn't did it so they didn't hit it so well. They didn't hit it so well that you would think, you know, you're not even on the right path into finding the truth, and you would be right there. But how they got things set up, you would think, you know, you not moving in the right direction.
Right. Right. You ain't lying. It's all about building, man. We got.
They think you know, looking up some blasphemy or
right
worshiping type stuff, and that ain't even what it is. Or like, you know, like false idol type stuff, something like this.
Right.
Something that's going to go against Christianity.
But see,
you know,
this is my
really what made Christianity. You see what I'm saying? Like that type.
But see, this is the thing. Yes, it did make Christianity, like it started the roots for it. But see, motherfuckers have poisoned the books, like when they poison that shit to their will. And they have used Christianity for thousands of years for brainwashing. You know what I'm saying? They use Christianity for brainwashing.
Just hold on. Let me Google it right quick, so you would know how recent it is. How recent it's been.
Oh, what you mean? What happened?
I'm about to.
Mark Life, what's happening, man? Pop in, man. Unmute your mic, dog.
So, Martin Luther, the dude who Martin Luther King named after.
Yep.
He was born in 1483, died in 1546. So somewhere between there,
I hear you. There we go.
Is when he deciphered the Bible from Latin. And made people and let people be able to read it and understand it before themselves. Before that, it was in Latin, and these Catholic people was telling everybody what they wanted them to do and said it was in the Bible. Like, priests be like, yeah, oh, you want your sins forgiven? The wife and kids want to come over tonight and suck my dick. Yep. You all be fine. That's what the Bible say. Do it.
Yep. Pretty much.
No, for real, like for real.
I know I'm laughing, but it's funny as hell because nigga, you telling the truth, dog. That's the whole thing. That's where the whole idea where the confessional come with the curtains and shit drawn. A lot of motherfuckers don't know that, but this just a small derivative of what go. And if you think about the principles of that confessional, and we breaking shit down, a lot of motherfuckers like ain't hip to this shit. If you think about the principles, that's exactly what it derived from, is what Drib talking about. Because if you think about it, if in the Catholic faith, when you go in the confessional, everything that you said, stays there. It can't be repeated. It's supposed to be hush hush. Whatever you do,
Right.
it's behind closed doors. Only you and that person. It might be in the middle of the church or in the center of the motherfucking church. You know what I'm saying? Or the whatever. You know what I'm saying? The center of the church, the building, center of the fucking building is gonna be right there, and it's gonna be with curtains in a booth and closed, so can't nobody see what's going on. If anything was going on, that derives from what Drip talking about, where they used to say, "Come do this, come do that, all your sins will be forgiven." 10 Hail Marys, 10 this and that. It just changed over the years to where now these motherfuckers do that shit behind closed doors in the Catholic Church, and all you see is these motherfuckers getting sued. All altar boys and shit that had their booty hole played with. You know what I'm saying? And they little dingaling pulled on. You know what I'm saying? By these damn little Catholics and shit. And that shit sad as fuck. How they, like I said, they perverted the whole book. We was responsible for Latin, as the Latin is the king's language, man. Real shit.
Right. They was lying and saying that God don't want you to have money.
Yep.
God wants you to give us all y'all money. You're supposed to live. Only people who should be rich is the priests. Everybody else should be like, middle class or poor.
And then when the Western civilization got involved, they turned that into government.
Mm-hmm.
They turned the money from priests and stuff. Only the priest supposed to have. They turned that into the government, and that's when you get all these derivations, or whatever you call it, derivative. You get all, you get all them. You get the King James, you get the New International, you get the Western whoop to wop. All these fucking things in the Bible,
and all the denominations.
Yep. Denominations. Why all the churches? Western Episcopal, Baptist. You know what I'm saying? Children Tabernacle, such and such God in Christ. Like, what's all that shit like? You know what I'm saying? Because motherfuckers, Presbyterian motherfuckers done broke off a lot of that shit, because a lot of that shit, man. Listen,
how you gonna take God's word? If it's really God's word, how you gonna take it and say, I feel that part, but I ain't gonna do this. I'm gonna do this part like this. You can't do that.
You can't do that shit.
You can't pick and
not
choose
do
what you want to follow from the word.
Mm-hmm. Fact. Especially, I want to see the original Latin Bible, the original Latin one. And I had studied Latin when I was in Upper Bound.
I bet it ain't a white person in there.
Hell no, it can't be.
I bet if it's any pictures, ain't nobody in there white.
Nope. And you know the picture's gonna be sketched out like, what's the name, if it is picture illustrations. I doubt it though. It's probably gonna be all word, and then it's gonna be descriptions. And then in the descriptions ain't gonna be no white people.
Yeah.
And if it is, they gonna be slaves or some shit.
But it's in the real Bible where it showed when the first white person came and said, my mom know it. I don't want to feel like calling her in here, but somebody had a son.
And it was white.
I don't know, sons or 3 sons, but yeah, one of the sons came out they said he was red. He came out red, and he had hair all over. I'm about to let me Google that.
He was Italian.
Yeah, he was
talking shit. He was a Guido. Hey, Guido.
What's going on though?
I'm talking shit. Mark, man, we just chilling. Finna wrap the show up in a minute, man. We've been on here just talking shit like we do.
Say, let me catch y'all real quick.
Hell yeah, you just came out the city?
I was in another city.
Where you was tipping off to?
Sony. Streets of New York. Dope.
Oh, that's the one where it's the old school.
Isaac's Jacob and Esau. Jacob came out red and covered with hair like a fur coat, so they named him Esau.
Esau.
They were twins.
Jacob and Esau. Isaac's sons was Jacob and Esau, right?
Yeah, and they was twins.
Who that nigga? Who was their mama?
I don't know, but she wasn't white.
And why was he? Why was he white? Why was the boy white?
That was the birth. According to the Bible, that was the birth for the first motherfucker who ain't look like everybody else.
Right. And they probably sent his ass off to the mountains, huh? And who he hooked up with?
Hold on, let me see. Let me go to the King James.
Who did that nigga hook up with to make some babies?
King James say, and the first came out red all over like an hairy garment, and they call his name Esau. And the New International be like the first one to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. What the? Hold on, where the hell got the Catholic one? Which one the Catholic one use?
Ah man,
Catholic don't use the King James, do they?
I think they do, my brother.
I think they do.
Same as the Baptists.
Genesis 25:25.
Hey, what that nigga Pac used to have on his back? Exodus what?
He probably had it from. He probably had the shit from Menace Society.
Oh, what the old man said? Exodus 20:13. Thou shalt not kill.
Yes.
God
No, I don't know what he had on there.
God didn't put you here to be shooting and killing
I
each
think
other.
Isaac's wife's name was Rebecca.
Rebecca. That name sounds familiar. I might go to church so I can brush up on my well, no, I can't even go to church. I can't even go to church. I need to just. Huh?
I wouldn't recommend that. I would just get a Bible and then get that Strong's. Some of that shit in there is real, but it's the Strong's. The Strong's.
Exodus 18:31.
Right, 18:31. Yeah.
18:31. No, it's the Strong's. It's the Strong's manual to help you understand, the Bible, because a lot of them words, like I even believe, like, every time they talk about wine, I don't think it necessarily like thicker wine. They probably call it like regular grape juice wine. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no way they said Jesus turned all the water into wine when he turned them 2 loaves of bread and 1 fish in the water in the wine to feed all them people when the kids was there and he had them drinking wine. Ain't no way. The kids just running around there drunk.
Back then it was okay to drink wine. The Bible say it's okay to drink, but you're not supposed to drink to get drunk.
No, see, I don't even think it was wine. That's why they don't never talk about nobody was drinking juice. It's either water or wine. That's it.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So,
in that aspect, it definitely could be that it's just the grapes.
They probably called apple juice wine back then.
That's probably true.
And that shit was grape juice.
Before wine every time.
Straight Welch's.
That shit was wine every time. Just like but that Strong's will let you know, like, it's words in there that you would think mean something else.
What you say it's called? Strong's Bible?
No, it ain't no Bible. It's a manual. It's a manual to help you understand the Bible. I don't know if they got a Strong's Bible, but it's a manual. And it show you, like, it ain't got nothing in it but words and the definitions to the words. And then, like, it got him, like, it got dipped. Like it'll show you like because sometimes they don't even mean it. Like sometimes the same word don't even mean the same thing. It show you like the context. You know what I'm saying? So like it'll say like, let's just say like car. We know car ain't in the Bible, but it'll say like car, and then in Genesis
No,
in the
they got it.
means something.
They got it. It's called Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the Bible.
Yeah, that's it. I don't think that's no Bible. I think that's it.
No, but that's what it's called. But you know, it's
Yeah,
called that. But what you saying is true. It's saying when
yeah,
I look at the thing, the word Strong's and Bible is real big, but underneath it says Strong's Exhaustive Concordance of the
yeah.
Bible. Like you saying,
I
it's
think that's
telling you what the Bible is saying on different
yeah.
shit, and it's called
Like let's say like for example like car. We know the word car ain't in the Bible, but it'll
right.
say like it'll show you every time they use that word and what context they was using it in every verse it was you know what I'm saying? And some it's like it don't be the same every time. Like in Genesis it might mean this, and then in Exodus it's gonna mean something totally different. Like
Right.
according to the words that's put with it. You see what I'm saying?
This
Like
Marcionite Christian Church, the very first Bible, 144 A.D.
and it was written by so many people over such a vast amount of time. You know, people won't talk the same. Like
Right.
this thing, like from when Adam was born to when Jesus died. How many years was that?
A lot.
You see what I'm saying? You know, people
Oh,
don't even like just like how when your daddy was a kid, people don't talk the same as they do now.
right.
Words did
But
every
a
word
lot
didn't
of
mean the same as it do now.
is
You know what
different
I'm
than
saying?
back then. But you remember back then, they got it that people used to live for hundreds of years,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that too.
That's true though.
like hundreds of years. Like damn.
Yeah, that's true
Yeah,
though.
that's
But
true.
but it's because of
Methuselah
what we was eating.
Methuselah was supposed to have lived like what, like 700 years?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Close to 1,000, close to 1,000 or
And
something like
then
that.
Well, let me
and then
tell you another thing about that too. Another because I heard another theory on that too. Before Western civilization, they counted different. So
true.
I heard that what they call like a year might have only really been like a month. You know what I'm saying? Even though Methuselah was old as shit, he might have been 100 something years old. It might not have actually been like 700 years old. You know what I'm saying? He might have actually lived like 700. Like it might have been like you know what I'm saying? They counted the years different. We didn't have
Yeah.
this schedule, so this
Because
schedule was
Noah
different.
had
But
supposed
people
to live,
did live longer.
Noah had supposed to have lived like 500 years.
Right, right. But see, people live longer, and it's only because of the food too.
Yeah,
Because
I
I
don't
don't.
think they were eating meat all like that either. They
No,
was burning.
you're not supposed to have that much meat, and you're not supposed to eat like we eat. You really not like the way Western civilization got us eating 3 meals a day. You're not even supposed to do that. You're supposed to eat your heaviest meal in the morning if you eat like I think you could look at that shit up if Farrakh and that Eat to Live. That shit right
Yeah,
there. You supposed to have small meals throughout the day. You supposed to always constantly be eating, but it's small shit. It's
Bro,
like
the
you
the real shit is we ain't supposed to be eating meat too,
nah.
according to
Well,
that.
certain
Not the
well
shit
we
we be
ain't supposed to be
eating.
eating certain meat. We can eat
And
meat.
then
We can eat fish, and
there we go. Yep.
we supposed to be able to eat fish, and we supposed to be able to eat like lamb or certain meat that's like sacred, like kosher shit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? We ain't supposed
All this
and
extra
not a lot
shit.
of it. Not like steaks all the
Exactly.
time. Like you only supposed to eat like a little. Like
We
it's not
supposed to be
even a
on a lot
lot.
of
yeah,
them
I'm looking
fruits.
at something right now. It say that Adam lived 930 years, but like they saying like how you said, cause it probably was only 93 years.
Right. Right.
But I
But
don't
see,
understand it. I don't understand them. You know, it's people who live in 93 today, and they eating
ex-
all this bullshit. So I don't know.
I don't think it was that close. I think somebody might just be doing a generalization because nobody really knows how off that calendar is. But I believe they might have lived. They was living over 100, bro, because they wasn't eating nothing processed. Everything they ate, they grew. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Or they owned, like it was your sheep or your chicken, or you know what I'm saying? Like you raised it. Yeah, and you know what it's eat. You fed it, like all kind of shit like that. Like it was like that. So it wasn't, and that's how you live longer, and that's honestly how you live longer. Not make your own butter. If you got cows, make your own motherfucking butter. Go out there and get that motherfucking shit. Put that bitch in that
Yeah,
wood
they was
thing.
churning, boy. That was some strong motherfuckers back then.
And jerk the
Just
hell
that
out that
churning process.
Hey, that's why niggas had so many kids, boy. Them women was, man, listen. Them women was some soldiers. Them women was cold back in the day.
You ain't bullshit.
Yeah, they jerk that chain when they want put you in the cross, boy. Come here.
Fool.
Come here, Alabaster.
Got a vice.
Hey, but for real though, on some real shit, and it's funny. I wanna get into this clip, but I'm not gonna play it because it's gonna mess up my monetization shit. So I ain't gonna mess with it. So look, y'all can check it out. It's a clip of Gilly the Kid making fun of Rick Ross, and we gonna go out on that, man, making fun of Rick Ross buying a matter of fact. Fuck it, it's on Say Cheese. They shouldn't hit me, man. If they do, whatever. Fuck it. We had fun doing it, man. It's funny as hell. But it's some fun. It's only funny because, and I'm gonna put it on because this nigga Drib hate this nigga. But he give two good points. How many times I just got some game off of $1 million worth of game, even though I like watching it. I just got some game off of $1 million worth of game when T Grizzly was on there. He dropped some shit about the streaming shit and all that and his shit. And the other shit is how Wallow be doing to the young niggas. But check this shit out. This shit funny, man.
Gilly the Kid and Rick Ross, they've been having a back and forth, and a lot of people are pointing out that Gilly was clowning Rick Ross for buying the cow. We both live in the South. We know how important livestock is and shit like that, especially having a garden or a farm.
This some shit I want to do.
What's your thoughts on that? Like, that was Gilly's punchline to Rick Ross, was like, you bought a cow.
Yeah. See, Gilly the Kid is one of them dumb niggas that ain't got nothing. He was a ghostwriter. See, I ain't never liked that nigga, homie. See, I be checking them niggas out, and they really ain't giving no game. They coodle the celebrities, and then they try to.
He meant to say
talk
coddle,
to big
man.
homie, talk to the young niggas.
This nigga
But
so uneducated.
Every land owner knows, and most niggas up north don't own land.
Fuck nigga.
Most niggas out west don't own land. But every land owner knows.
A lot of niggas up north and Midwest
there's a benefit to owning land. If you got a house, just $1 million motherfucking mansion,
me and Drib was some of them.
and you got all this acres and this land on this motherfucker, well, you paying these property taxes.
What would this nigga Charles be talking
It changes when you put livestock on your property.
Which is true.
You get way more benefits. Things become cheaper. The government, you're in a whole different ball game. I wouldn't give a fuck if you got one cow, you got one goat, you got one bull, you got livestock. It puts you in a whole different kind of tax bracket. Dumbass Gilly boy. The man got land. So I'm sure his millionaire friends, his billionaire friends gave him some game that all our rancher friends tell us, man, put you some livestock on there. Now you really got a farm. You cutting your own grass. You know that Rick Ross do cut his own grass. He's saving probably $10,000 a month. He's baling his own hay. So when me and Mr. Jesse Taylor be traveling around the country traveling around Texas to go talk to kids, and we ride in that old boring open land, you might be looking at grass. I be counting them bales of hay saying, $100, $100, $100. I be counting money when I be seeing bills of hate just laying around on people land. Motherfucker be bored looking out the windows, daydreaming. I be counting money, looking at money, trying to figure out how did this one family, this one person acquire all this land out here. So what Rick Ross did, nigga, is giving game. That $1 million game shit don't get no game. I watched them last night. We didn't get no game. We didn't get no. Them ain't no game related niggas. Them industry niggas that's friends with industry people, so they get a lot of push. They got a machine behind them. Shout out to Rick Ross for doing what country niggas do. Nigga buying livestock. Don't buy no motherfucking horse.
I know.
Don't buy no motherfucking dog. Nigga, get you one of them bulls or a cow. If nothing else, you can eat that motherfucker. Yeah. So now, good game, Rick.
Yeah, but see, nah, but that's some real shit. Like, I really want to do some shit like that. I fuck with the little farming shit and growing and all that kind of shit. I like that type of shit. So, I that would, like you said, he keeping it real right there. Like, you know what I'm saying? But he's so goofy and uneducated, dog. It's kind of hard to listen to him sometimes.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, but I get his point. I get the point he be trying to make, though, in some of the situations.
He speak a lot of truth, yeah, but it's just the way he do it.
Yeah.
Like, some of his shit, like with all that snitching shit and all that police and his little antics and shit, like he just went and maced Soulja Boy, dog. A 50-year-old man maced a 20-year-old, bro.
He maced him?
Yeah, he maced him in Las Vegas.
What happened?
Charleston White maced Soulja Boy.
Soldier.
Yeah, he maced Soulja Boy.
Yeah. No.
See what he was saying. You just maced him immediately.
Yep, exactly. Look, and then he do little stupid shit like this.
Look how Soulja Boy look. Y'all see how that mace? See how that mace? See how the mace running down? See how that's how that mace was running down that boy's face. That's that orange bar mace that I hit that boy with. Y'all see, look. That mace ain't got no blowback. It was looking just like that on that boy's face. You see how that mace sitting right there? No, I was wearing pink. I had on pink. Look, you see how that mace running down there like corn? It's running down there, y'all. Look, that's how I hit that boy with it. You see that mace? I just did y'all a demonstration of that mace. Soulja Boy's face was looking just like this, and it was burning. Ooh, that nigga had. Look, you see how I got them globs and shit on there? Look how it run. It's a thick run. It was running down his face just like this here. It was getting in his eyes and his mouth. Look, just like a nigga skeeted on him. This don't spray in the air. I just showed these people. This don't spray in the air, nigga. This goes. I'm gonna do it again. This don't spray in there. Watch that stream. And this how Soulja Boy look. Y'all see how that mace? See how that mace? See how the mace running down? See how that's how that mace was running down that boy's face. That's that orange bar.
Nigga.
Corny as hell.
Yes, bro. And that's what I be saying, man. That kind of shit. And bragging about it like you maced a 20-something-year-old, dog.
You had to make Soulja Boy though, bro.
Right, you had to mace the nigga that caught the niggas coming down the steps. Bow, bow. And then I flipped over the couch. And then I grabbed my other gun from underneath the couch. Bow, bow. That's the nigga you mace, bro. And you online bragging about it. Charleston White, man, you a bitch ass nigga, man. On some real shit.
Yeah. I agree with that. On that situation there.
Yeah, you definitely be on some. What the
fuck the little true statements you make here and there.
Right. Yeah, you every now and then, man, you drop a jewel on motherfuckers, but overall, you a corny motherfucker, man, for that shit you be doing, man. Keep it real, my nigga. You know what I mean? And with that shit said, man, we finna be out, man. We out of here, man. Talking shit, episode 22, man. PG the Hustler.
Road boy here.
Ralphie Drib signing out.
Man, y'all already know, man. Catch us. Catch us on the YouTube, man. Oh, the nigga Drib got listen, man. Drib got some shit out called Sheesh. That shit is on, I think it's everywhere, man. I know it's on Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube. Check out one of my latest singles that I just had dropped, man. Where do we go from here, man? And I got some new heat coming out too. Just a couple singles before I drop this album, man, in the wintertime. So, y'all get ready for it, man. And, you know, I see you when I see you, man.